Hi, everybody. Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. But I also practice in Fairfax County, which is why we have our special guest, Jennifer Rose, here today. Our theme this month, well, actually for the last 2 months, is how to start and grow a successful business. And my guest today is Jennifer Rose, Executive Director of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, otherwise known as Goddess. She, as Darren Marquardt calls her, she is absolutely fantastic. I have known Jennifer, believe it or not, only maybe 14 months. It was like the end of 2018. What year are we?
No, end of 2019.
COVID, the end of 2019, and she has just been so incredibly helpful, and the chamber has been great. But this is not just me praising the chamber. This is to talk about why a business should consider joining a chamber and community involvement. So at this point, Jennifer, I'm going to turn it over to you. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit what a chamber of commerce actually is, in case they don't know, and tell us anything about yourself you want them to know.
Well, first of all, Jean, thank you for allowing the Goddess, see, I'm trying to embrace that term, to join you again. Our last podcast we did was so much fun.
It was, and it was, some people said it was one of my best.
Well, no pressure that we can repeat that. I get that question a lot from folks about, what is a chamber of commerce? I don't even know what that is. Is that a bunch of old people that come together and, have lunch and cocktails? In some places, maybe. But, in the simplest terms, a chamber of commerce is a membership association. Businesses pay membership dues to join a chamber of commerce. And in return for those membership dues, the chamber works to help support those businesses. And they do it in a variety of ways. They may provide them with information, referrals, access to marketing tools, lots of education opportunities. Networking opportunities, which most people think of when they think of a chamber of commerce. Although during the COVID phase of life, those opportunities have dried up. But it's also been a great opportunity to shine the light on all the other important work that chambers of commerce do to help businesses. We were made for this point in time in terms of supporting businesses, providing them with that access to information, providing feedback to our lawmakers on what they're doing and how it's impacting business, or what they're not doing and how it's impacting business. We're a trusted resource of information for those folks. And a lot of people, they hit the chamber up first when they're trying to solve a problem or figure out, I don't know the answer to this question, but my chamber of commerce might know. So in a lot of ways, I'm like your help desk. Right? You got a problem, you call the help desk. And I've solved quite a variety of problems for our members over the last 12 months or so, and even, I guess, the last 3 years that I've been with the chamber. But today, I kind of want to talk a little bit about not just chamber membership, but chamber membership as an example of community networking. So when you're starting your new business, you're trying to get the word out, you're trying to meet people, make connections, figure out who might be a good referral partner for you. And you don't know where to start necessarily. But, there's a lot of benefits of using your community around you to network. I like to say, I use a little acronym because I have all these tips and tools. I'm getting old and my mind is addled. I use the acronym RICS, community. So the benefits of community networking, you think about RIC. Resources, right? We know what we know, right? Law. Things that you don't know, like you may know that I don't know how to do accounting, but then there's a whole world of stuff you don't know what you don't know. So this community that you introduce, you seek out, great source of information for you. These resources. I mean, it's impossible to do everything by yourself. Solo. I'm a one-woman show at the chamber. I try to do everything by myself, but that's impossible. There's only so many hours in the day. So you have to surround yourself with people who have expertise in the things that you don't have. So great reason to get involved with your local chamber of commerce, because you have instant access to resources. Jean, how many people have I helped connect you with that might help you? Or how many people have you met during a chamber related activity that's turned around and helped you?
I couldn't even count. Seriously, tons. And
Right.
it's like a Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation from one
Exactly.
person. I meet other people and other people. And it's been so helpful. You're the one who told me about Coach Marvin Powell. Marvin, if you're watching, you are awesome.
Bow down to the great Coach Powell.
And
Yes.
Marquardt, just, I mean, I, I don't want to leave anybody out. Just so many people. And you mentioned earlier, before we go on, I just want to tell everybody watching, type your questions in the comments, the comment box, and we'll make sure to get them answered. Anything you want to know about a Chamber of Commerce or the Central Fairfax Chamber, or any comments you have, and let us know where you're checking in from. But you had mentioned, and I hope I'm not going off the on a complete tangent here, but you mentioned that COVID kind of put a wrench in the networking thing. But I know that the Central Fairfax Chamber has been, and I assume other chambers also have been doing a lot of online and virtual events. So
yeah, we have, and you know, depending on where you are in the country, I mean, some chambers out there, you know, in states that may be a little more open, they are doing in-person events again, or hybrid events, or events where there's social distancing going on. But yeah, we've all had to pivot. We're doing a lot of Zooms and Microsoft Teams and all that fun stuff. And you know, it's got its upside and its downside. I love people and being around people and feeling their energy, so it's harder for me to do that on the screen. But I've also been able to meet a lot of folks that I wouldn't have met before. You know, especially in Northern Virginia with the traffic, it's hard to get from this part of town to that part of town. And, you know, you zoom right in, there is no commute. So I've been able to, you know, connect with some groups that I've always wanted to see but couldn't. So that's been a good thing. We'll skip in our acronym a little bit. We'll go to connections. You know, your chamber membership allows you to improve your personal and professional network. You never know who you're going to meet and how they can help you or how you can help them. You have the opportunity to meet people who are influencers. And Jean, you know, with all these Facebook Lives that you do, you're rapidly becoming an influencer. People are paying attention to you. And, you know, oh, Jean's talking about this business. Let me go check them out. So you never know who you're going to meet. You're going to raise your own profile. You've certainly raised your profile in the community since you've come to the Central Fairfax Chamber. A lot more people know who Jean Humbrick is. And you gain some credibility. You're able to share your knowledge. And people, you know, when Jean speaks, people sit up and listen. Showing my age now, I'm thinking of E.F. Hutton. Sorry about that. Back to my acronym. Inspiration is a great benefit of community networking. There are a wide variety and diversity of opinions and ideas and knowledge that people have. You're challenged sometimes when you're meeting with folks to think creatively or, you know, reevaluate or reconsider what you thought you knew. You may think you're an expert in something, and then all of a sudden somebody comes along who knows a little bit more than you. So being inspired so that you can cultivate, you know, great exchange of ideas and thoughts, it can be very inspiring for a business owner or an entrepreneur. So we've done R, resources. We've done I, inspiration. We've done the connections with C. So K is knowledge, and it's very similar to resources. You have that opportunity to learn from each other. You can identify mentors. I know that Coach P.L.L. is a mentor for you. He's a mentor for me, and I don't connect with him nearly as often as I should.
Neither do I.
You find great mentors. You can create mastermind groups. You know, you get a problem, you can throw it out there to the world, and they can help you try to solve your problem. This morning I was on a great Nexco call, and we had some great mastermind discussions on negotiating. I don't think that I'm necessarily a great negotiator, but then as we started talking, I thought, well, maybe I'm not as bad as I thought I was. So great opportunities to exchange knowledge. And then my favorite part of the acronym is support. The life of an entrepreneur or a small business person can be very lonely. You feel like you're the only person that understands or knows what's going on in your world. You know, the sleepless nights, the worrying. You know, COVID aside, entrepreneurs have plenty to worry about. And a chamber of commerce or any other community that you can become involved with especially a chamber though, gives you that group of like-minded people. They may have already been where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
They may have experienced what you're experiencing. They may have the spouse who's just like, why are you always thinking about your business plan? Can you, dinner, let's go, pay attention,
Mm-hmm.
You've got this great mental and emotional support system for you. They can boost your energy and lift you up when you're feeling down. Our round table, we talk about lifting each other up when things are not so great, and lifting them up higher when things are even better. But that encouragement, it comes from those who've been where you've been, and being able to share experiences is invaluable. So remembering the value of community networking, just remember Rick's resource,
Mm-hmm.
inspiration, connections, knowledge, and support. It'll help you push through when you're wondering, why am I doing this? And those community networking opportunities, they are everywhere. I am always talking chamber. All my hats kind of mixed together. And I know Jean knows this. I'm a very active Rotarian in the Fairfax Rotary Club. I'm a past president. And I switch, like I'll talk chamber to someone, and they may notice if I have my Rotary pin on, or I mention something about, well, what's that? I seamlessly switch hats and talk about that, or a fundraiser we have, or a project. You have to think outside the box when you're looking at networking opportunities or getting involved with folks. So, in your professional life, you've got your chambers of commerce, you've got your BNI groups, your Nextco groups, your breakfast clubs, you've got all those formal networking groups, lead shares within many chambers.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of other great places that you can network. If you're a parent, on the soccer field, I guess these days we're kind of still outside with some of the sports. You can get involved with civic organizations like Rotary, like the Kiwanis or the Lions Club, or any number of groups like that. PTAs. You'd be surprised what kind of business you can get done at a PTA meeting or a school function. I just did a podcast with a chamber member, Foster Web Marketing, great group. They do a lot of websites. Coincidentally, they specialize in law firms.
Yeah.
But Tom has a great podcast, and I did a podcast with him last month. I met him years ago through my kid's school, and then we met through work, and then we met through a different work. So you never know who you're going to talk to. And in fact, I think he may help me with my podcast in 2021, so that the chamber can continue to highlight its members. So you never know what's going to come from a conversation, or who you might meet that might be able to connect you with someone. It's a beautiful thing, community network.
Mm-hmm. So the chamber's going to have a podcast this year?
Yeah, I was hoping to roll it out in the fall, but again, bandwidth, one woman show.
Well, yeah.
And because you do these Facebook Lives and things like that, it takes a little bit of time and preparation. And with the podcasting, there's editing and things like that I just don't think I have the lift for. But with Tom's help and his team, the podcast we recorded last month will be released on Friday. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, awesome.
Good. I will share it with everyone. That's one of the new things I'm hoping to roll out this year. A great chamber of commerce is always looking for new ways that it can provide return on investment for its members. Mm-hmm. And if I can add podcasts to it, and another way that our members can have the light, shined down on them or shown upon them, and what they're doing and who they're trying to meet and the services they provide, all the better for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wanted to point something out using your Rick's mnemonic device for I guess I don't know if it's knowledge or support or inspiration. It could fall in any of those categories, but you might think my lives are so great and awesome, but I do not edit them. So what is live stays there forever. So don't worry. I would say don't worry too much about the editing of the podcast, because that actually stopped me for a while from doing any of this, because I was concerned. And I know you have a chamber member helping you, but just support. It's not as stressful as you might think.
Mm-hmm. No, I know the way I roll in many ways is I kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and I'll try almost anything once or twice, and get a feel for it. And then, there's always room for improvement. So however my first podcast come out, they're going to be great. They'll only get better as we go. So I'm not too concerned about it. It's just, finding that one small window I need just to pull the trigger on it and do it.
Oh, Darren is watching now. He just
Hello,
loved the live. Hi, Darren. We mentioned you earlier. If you're there, say something in the comments. Ask a question.
Ears should have been on fire.
Tell us about your chamber involvement. But while we're waiting for Darren to respond, because if he doesn't, I'm going to text him and harass him. I have all the chamber members' cell phone numbers. There he is. Jennifer Rose is a goddess. Yes. So I already introduced her as a goddess. And we mentioned that came from you, Darren. So.
We did. We gave Darren credit where credit was due. But, I guess, the one best piece of advice I can give to anyone when they're looking at their Chamber of Commerce, it depends on where you are. Like in Northern Virginia, there are a lot of chambers of commerce. There's probably 25 in Northern Virginia alone. So you kind of have to, check them out, figure out which one's going to be the right fit for you. Mm-hmm. If you're in a different part of the state or the country where there's only one or two in your county, you have, fewer options and choices. But if and when you join your chamber, be sure to take advantage of that membership. Mm-hmm. Joining a chamber is not like, join the chamber, all my problems are solved. Oh, no, you got to put a little work into it. You have to ask for help. I love when my members reach out to me and say, hey, I need help with this. I've got a question I've got a member today who emailed me, Ramon Montez with Regratifying Foundation, great nonprofit that helps provide services to foster kids who are aging out of the system. They tend to slip through the cracks, and Ramon has a great organization. He's doing some workforce development with them, and he was trying to find somebody who could help him with entrepreneur type presentation for some of his foster young adults. So I did an email introduction for him. Saved him time from trying to figure out who would be a good person. I collect people, to quote the great Sarah White, and I hope Sarah's on this. She's a collector of people, and I stole that from her. I too collect people, and not in the creepy way. They're not like in my closet. But I love to meet new people and learn, who they are and what they do and what they need, and then I can connect people. I do it often. But when you join your chamber, take advantage of all that they have to offer. There are many, many ways that you can save money, being a member of a chamber of commerce through some of their affinity programs. Just the time you save trying to solve problems or get answers to your questions, it's invaluable. But you have to use it. If you don't use it, then you are just wasting your money. You're not going to have a very good experience.
Yeah, and I actually want to follow up on that. And again, going back to the mnemonic and taking advantage of the chamber. There were so many events pre-COVID and during COVID that were beneficial. There are webinar type events where somebody presents on a specific topic. And I mean, they range the gamut. There were networking events, obviously pre-COVID in person. But even during COVID, we had those online, and it sounds weird, and it sounded weird to me at first too, the networking and doing an online happy hour, but it's not. It's just like any Zoom meeting, and I'm an extrovert and I like being around people, so I just make the most of it. And if I get put in a breakout room with people I don't know, it's, hey guys, what do you want to talk about? I'll tell you about me.
It gives you the opportunity to make new friends.
Exactly.
This morning I was in a breakout room and I had all new friends in there, and that makes me so excited because I'm like, oh, people I don't know, I've never met. This is very exciting for me. Mm-hmm. It is weird, and I'll be honest. Our strictly networking events this past year have been challenging. We haven't had the turnout that I'd like to have. We've got pretty good turnout on our webinars and education stuff, but the pure networking we've struggled with getting the people to come. But if they come, like last month, you participated in you came to the women's committee one, the Young Professionals Women's Committee.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a great time, and that was pure networking with some entertainment thrown in because it was the holidays. And I just decided probably by May of last year, you know what, if I have 5 people that show up, if I have 50 people that show up, it's going to be awesome for whoever's in the Zoom room, and we're going to have a great time. And that's just the nature of my philosophy. For now, it's the mindset we all have to have. It is what it is. I mean, I've been in nothing but Zooms today with like 30-minute break here, an hour break there, 10-minute break. I don't like to schedule my day like that. That's just the way it works today. And you know, sometimes at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I was supposed to do that Zoom at 6. I just can't look at that camera another minute. Hunt. And that's okay. But you can make some great connections with these networking, these Zoom networking or Microsoft Teams. I'm getting better at using the breakout rooms, and that really helps because that gives you some one-on-one time with some folks, and allows you to really learn more about them, and gives you an excuse to set up a one-to-one later on where you can really dive deeper with them.
And I've noticed that the at least the Central Fairfax Chamber, and I think other chambers, they do a lot of work with the Small Business Development Center. There are a lot of events that I mean, you're not. I guess explain how you're affiliate. You promote the SBDC events.
Yeah, I don't have a formal partnership with the Small Business Development Center. They're in the same building that I'm in, but I'm a little different than some of the chambers. This is just my personal preference. I actively go out and look for events to put on our events calendar that I think would be of interest and of use to our members. So at least once a month, I'm looking at the SBDC's calendar. I'm looking at the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority's calendar, Fairfax County's calendar, anywhere I can look. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, daggone it, last week I did really good. It's quiet. It's not New Year's. I loaded the calendar with as many things as I could find. And sure enough, Monday morning, Bob Hull from Nova forwarded me an email about something that I missed. It wasn't on the calendar last week. They just added it, and it was all about the new round of CARES Act money that came through. So I listened to that yesterday. But I'm always adding things to the calendar. And I was telling someone earlier today, please, bookmark our calendar, go check it out. If it's on the calendar, it's probably not something that my chamber is hosting, because I do look for so many different things, but I can connect you with the host if you have a question, like, oh, I can't make it. Are you recording it? Well, it's not my event, but let me connect you with the group that's doing it. And I do that very purposely because small business folks, and that's my niche for membership, solo entrepreneurs, super small mom and pop businesses, they don't have time to go look for those things. So I make it as easy as possible. And in fact, every Monday I send an email to my members, the insider email that tells them the events for the week, what they need to know, any kind of inside baseball kind of things, heads up on potential funding or what's coming down from the new, before the latest round of COVID assistance was signed into law. I gave everybody the heads up, hey, this is coming. Got to pass Congress, Trump's got to sign it, but here's what it's going to look like, kind of information. So,
and one thing I wanted to mention about that, chamber members can actually post events on the event calendar. So that's another benefit of chamber membership. You can, as a member, you can promote your events like chamber wide, and it only takes 30 seconds to put the information in there. It's very helpful.
No, it doesn't take long at all. And then I get a notification that you put it there, and I make sure that all the links work and the appropriate information is there, and I make it live. And it's another platform that our members can use. Our chamber has a private Facebook group just for the chamber members only, so they can communicate directly with each other, share information on events, ask questions. I started that, I guess it was July. I think it was July. And it's slowly taking hold with the members. But it's just another way that they can cut through the noise and get their messaging out. And it doesn't cost them anything. I mean, they're already posting it on Facebook. They just have to share it to one more place.
Right. Yeah. And frankly, if you're in a group and you're sharing an event and you click share to group, all the groups actually pop up. So you'll have an option, you don't even have to go searching for it. Just click, click, click. I share so many events. That's how I know that. But I wanted to actually talk about a couple specific things and get to a question. in terms of taking advantage of the chamber. Because, I hate to admit this, but before I really got involved in networking a few years ago, I didn't really know what a chamber was.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of getting involved, I would just say from my particular experience, going to the happy hours or the networking events, whether they're online or in person, going to any, webinars or trainings, and the chamber, even pre-COVID, had a lot of like lunch and learn type things. And then there's also a lot of different committees or committees. Is that what they're okay? That we didn't even talk about. There's a women's committee. There's a young professionals committee.
Veterans committee, nonprofit roundtable, youth committee. Once the schools can kind of get back to normal, I'm not sure when, if that's ever going to happen, but and a government affairs committee, I finally have leadership for that too. So we got great ways that you can get involved in things that are of particular interest to you. It help you develop professionally as well. If you decide you wanted a leadership position with our young professionals committee, we do have vacancies. With our women's committee, we have a couple of vacancies there too.
Is that for women, for me as a woman and a young professional?
Indeed. You can spill over into both worlds.
Oh no, don't add two more things. I will say, however, that I'm sure I'll have a great time because everybody in the chamber is awesome. As I'm sure people can probably imagine, anybody that wants to participate in a group like this is a nice, outgoing person and helpful. Everybody tries to help each other out, and that's been my experience. And it's just been great. So,
yeah, I think that's especially true of this chamber. We're still small. I mean, we have just under 200 members. But I'd like to keep that feeling, no matter how many members we grow into, 500 members, 600 members. I want us to feel small and like just a big family. And you're right. Everybody they want to work with other chamber members. They want to support each other, help them in any way they can. And it's been a great thing to see in action, especially during COVID. People that go an extra mile to make sure that they're able to support a particular business. It's been very rewarding to see.
Yeah, and I've noticed that there are, certain chamber members that will make it a point to try to attend other people's events to support them.
Yep.
Sarah White, you mentioned earlier. I hope Sarah's watching. Sarah's actually been on the live before. I think she's got 3 jobs.
She has so many jobs, and she's amazing at all of them.
I know. And yeah, so she recently joined the chamber because she told me, but she's awesome. And we became friends, and I can't remember how I met her. I don't know if it was through DC Fempreneur or the chamber or Marvin's Roundtable. But
I know that I introduced her to the whole world of chambers in this area. And since she's joined us, I think she's joined like 5 other chambers.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I wanted to ask about joining multiple chambers because you mentioned checking them out and finding one that was good for you. Would you recommend that anybody join multiple chambers? Or
it depends on your budget of not just money, but of time, right? Because you want to attend events, even if it's just virtual. You want to engage with that chamber. So I tell people all the time, there's no geographic restriction to a chamber of commerce. If you want to have a presence in a particular community and grow your business and your brand, it's fair game. I mean, the Central Fairfax Chamber, we serve the city of Fairfax and its suburbs, so the immediate footprint in the central part of Fairfax County. But I have members that are in Prince William County like you. I have members that are in Maryland, in Loudoun, in Fauquier County. So they just want to expand their presence here. But like I mentioned earlier, when you join the chamber, you got to be engaged. You got to have a little skin in the game. So there's no point in joining, 3 or 4 chambers of commerce if you're not gonna do anything. Unless you just want to have your name in their online directory and you want to get their emails and attend their events occasionally. But it can get expensive. Each chamber, their pricing is different. Ours is based on the number of employees a company has. Some chambers use a tiered approach where you can have like a base membership, and then, for a little more money, you can add a few more benefits or sponsorship opportunities, and for a little more money, you can add even more. But it can get really expensive. So you just have to look at, what you have budgeted, and determining the best place to spend your precious marketing dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, because I've checked out other chambers, and I mean, I've liked all of them. They all had, in the DC metro area, they've all had something to offer. But, pre-COVID, it's like, am I gonna sit through traffic for,
Right.
out a couple of hours to get to a lunch in a certain place that shall not be named, but we all probably know where it is. Great people, but just don't have the time. And then you think, well, if I'm not going to be able to make are these really the people that I want to make connections with? Is this my, target audience, or whatever it is that you're, the basis of joining that chamber? So yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Check them out.
Yeah. And the other thing to remember is that most chamber events are open to the public. There are very few chamber events that are, 100% exclusively for chamber members only. So, if you want to attend a chamber event, you may have to pay a little more money than a chamber member would. A chamber member may get to go for free. The non-member is going to have to pay a little bit, or the chamber member may pay $50 and you're going to pay $100. But most of their events are open to the public. So you don't have to be a member to attend their events and take advantage of some of their benefits.
Mm-hmm. That is true. I forgot to mention that, because that's how I checked out the Central Fairfax Chamber. I attended as a guest, and I'm like, why am I going to keep paying as a guest? This is an awesome group. I should just join. Like,
that's right.
Better use of my money.
That's right. That's right.
And we do have a question, which actually leads me to something we did not talk about, and the chamber advocating for businesses at the in the legislature in general.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what legislative priorities does the chamber have for the 2021 General Assembly session?
Such a good question. And I'd mentioned that I finally have a government affairs committee chair. So my chamber has not been as active in the government affairs world as some of the other chambers. This year, I hope that we will be a little more engaged, at least sharing feedback with our legislators and lawmakers in Richmond. I rely heavily upon the Virginia Chamber of Commerce and their government affairs group to look at the bills that they're watching, the ones that they recommend we support, and the ones that they say, not so great for business. We're always going to be supporting, and this is an important question. Chambers of Commerce, they support policies. They are nonpartisan. We don't support parties. We don't support people. We support the policy. So we are always looking for to support things that are going to be good for business growth. It could be employment policies, it could be tax policies, but it's going to be things that are good for business. And sometimes, we'll have conflicting ideas of what's good for business. Sometimes the U.S. Chamber of Commerce will announce that they're supporting something, and I'm like, really? Is that really best for business? I'm not sure. But we're always going to have a little bit of competing interest. So I can't answer that question specifically because I don't get to make the policy decisions. Our members do that. So our government affairs committee is going to meet. We're going to meet next week for the first time. And we'll put together what we think our priorities will be, and then our board approves them. And then we'll push them out more publicly. But there are many chambers in the area that they put right on their website what their legislative priorities are. I would like my chamber to do that as well. So hopefully in 2021, now that I've got that committee chair in place, we'll be able to do that as well. But we're always, trying to be on the side of the business, whether it's with, the city of Fairfax, Fairfax County, in Richmond, or even, at the federal level. I've certainly sent a lot of emails over the last several months to all city council members and board of supervisors, state senators, state delegates, Congressman Connolly, Senator Kane, Senator Warner. I have communicated with all of them.
See, Jennifer knows everybody. She's the person you need to know. Yeah. And Jennifer, we're kind of matching today. Great.
We are kind of. I got the browns. You got the. I like the.
Well, this is
good.
Gold. Yeah, I mean gold.
It's good. I have my live, love, something. Belong to my Aunt Peggy.
Live, laugh, love.
Aunt Peggy with me. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying the spirit of my fantastic Aunt Peggy with me today.
That's nice. See, and look, you can have interesting we would never see each other as much, I think, if it wasn't for COVID and doing these electronic things. Because, I mean, you're obviously in Fairfax and I am other places, mostly Prince William County. So for me to, sometimes fight through rush hour traffic or get out of court early to get to a lunch is hard. I made what I can. But now that everything is available via Zoom, and I assume other chambers are doing the same thing, like you said earlier, it gives me the opportunity to attend so many more events than I even was able to before. So
it is there's a few upsides to COVID. I will reluctantly admit that's one of them. I drive in from Fauquier County to work, so the traffic on 66 has been pretty light, and then it got kind of yucky, and now it's back to being light again, despite all the construction with the express lanes. So that's kind of been an upside, but I think just the ability to connect with even more people so seamlessly has been a nice silver lining. I'd still rather see you in person.
I'd rather see you in person too. If you think Jennifer's fun on the Facebook Live, she is like 10 times more awesome in person.
I don't know about that, but I do long for the days that we can all come together again.
Jennifer, when's the last time I've seen you in person?
That is an excellent question. Probably, let's see, were you at Cinema Arts back in February of last year?
I missed that one.
All right. Were you at the Young Professionals at Dolce Vita? That was late February, early March.
No, I missed that one too.
But I don't think I've seen you since Old Shebeen, December of 2019.
It has been 13 months since I have seen Jennifer in person. 13 months.
Sad.
But at least I had the opportunity to see you like this and attend the chamber.
I see you most weeks, almost every week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week via Zoom.
Well, Jennifer is, if you think I'm busy, good Lord, Jennifer is way busier. Like she said, she's a Rotarian. She was president of the Rotary. She runs the entire Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. Were you in Toastmasters at one point too?
No.
That's the one thing she hasn't done.
No, haven't done Toastmasters. I was teaching at George Mason. I did not teach last calendar year, thank God. Busy mom, active with my school's PTA, making connections.
I remember the first time I met you, you had the giant scissors at the ribbon cutting, which is another thing I wanted to point out because we didn't talk about that. Can you tell everybody?
I know. I love a good ribbon cutting. I've done one recently. It is fun bringing the big scissors out. We've done a few since COVID has begun. Some for chamber members and some the city. When there's new businesses in the city, they always invite us. And it has been a wonderful celebration of a business opening during COVID rather than closing. And I've been successful at getting the Fairfax Connection to attend ribbon cuttings or cover the story if they couldn't attend. And that's just been another benefit of being in the chamber and taking advantage of my connections and who I know and can get out. And then you get a little more press for your grand opening.
Actually, can I give a personal example? Because you asked me probably like 35 minutes ago about all the people that I met, but can I give a personal example of all the people that I've met from the Central Fairfax Chamber? Okay.
Go for it.
At one of the first events I ever went to, I met Russ McIntosh, and I know Russ was watching because he also loved the live because it shows me who likes it and loves it, but it doesn't show me who's watching, which is why I say type in the comments so I know who you are and I can shout you out. Russ McIntosh. And Russ actually is the person who ended, see, this is why I hate Zoom, my hair. Oh.
Your hair looks fabulous.
No, it doesn't. See, she's good at making everybody feel better about themselves. So anyway, Russ did the layout for my book, and Russ was actually on my live a few months ago.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
Troy, who did my book cover, I met him through Marvin Powell, the fabulous coach Marvin Powell that I met because of Jennifer Rose, and the weekly roundtable that Jennifer and I attend. I guess the roundtable itself is affiliated with the chamber or a member of the chamber, or
they're a member.
They're a member.
We are a nice partner of Marvin and Darren's for the roundtable.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Sarah White, obviously, Sarah and I have become friends, and she's been on the live and we help each other out professionally. And I can't even count.
Lisa Shapiro, DC Fempreneur, I bet I introduced you. I'm sure I did, because she came to me. Pretty sure.
The first DC Fempreneur event I went to was their holiday party in 2019. And that was right around the time I joined the chamber. So possibly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lisa's got a great group. DC Fempreneur is doing fabulous things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all these people that you meet through the chamber connections. And why can't I think of more people right now? It seems like,
well, you've picked up quite a few speaking engagements along the way. The Fairfax Rotary Club is a member of the chamber. You spoke to them, and I think that led you to speak maybe at some other Rotary groups. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Fairfax Rotary is a member of the chamber, and Doug Church, who is on the board of the Central Fairfax Chamber. Oh, he's so awesome. I miss Doug. Well, he claims you're his boss, so. But so Doug and Jennifer are both. It was lucky that I met them at the event with the big scissors, because they're the nicest people ever. And then they took the time to talk to me about the chamber benefits, and it was really great, and I was sold. But they're both members of the Rotary, like Jennifer mentioned, and then they invited me. I was invited to speak at. I may have been invited to attend as a guest, and then was invited to speak at the Rotary Club. And speaking engagements actually work out really well for me, honestly. I don't know why people, I don't know, like what I have to say, I guess.
She's a good speaker.
I don't know about that
stuff. My husband heard you talking at, I don't know what we were on, but he heard you in the background, and he's like, "Who's that?" I was like, "That's Jean. I've told you about Jean, Tiny Jean, thick butt attorney." He said, "I like her. She's very confident in what she has to say." And let me tell you, my husband didn't like anybody. Oh. He was so impressed with your confidence, and you were speaking with authority, and he appreciated that. But now I can't remember where you were speaking, but he was impressed. And usually he rolls his eyes when he listens to my networking group. So.
Oh, well, that's the nicest thing I've heard all day. Thank you. Tell your husband thank you.
I will. He's like, "I like her." So it's true. He doesn't like anybody.
Maybe one day I'll actually meet him.
Yes, one day.
Yes.
One day. That would be nice. He likes to come to ribbon cuttings for restaurants because there's food. When I tell him I have a ribbon cutting, he's like, "Will there be food? Is it a restaurant? What kind of business?" He's impressed with you.
Usually the ribbon cuttings have food, even if it's not a restaurant.
Usually, although in the COVID world, not so much. But yeah, if I tell him, I'm like, "Oh no, it's for," he's like, "I don't want to go to that." I'm like, "There'll be some food." He's like, "No. I want to go to," I'm trying to think the last one he went to where there was food involved, like a restaurant. I want to say it was Pampa Sanzone in the city of Fairfax. And unfortunately, they didn't join the chamber. And unfortunately, they have not survived COVID. Great food, though. So good.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, he thoroughly enjoyed that ribbon cutting. Yes, it's all about the food with him. It's all about the food with me.
Well, with me, too. I mean, I kind of strategically plan events that I go to, and do I need to eat first, and is there going to be wine and all that stuff?
Plan my road trips around where I'm going to stop and eat. Come on. I'm a hardcore serious foodie, so yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I could just keep talking about the benefits of the chamber forever. It's just been so great. I've had speaking opportunities, and it's not just me. Like a lot of other chamber members, and a lot of the time I just go to Jennifer and I'm like, "Hey, I have an idea. Can I do this?" And she's like, "Yes." Or, they come to me, and I don't even remember. Zoom, everything is just blending
I
together.
know it's a big blur, and the COVID time warp, it's hard to keep them straight. But I can think of a few examples of some great webinars that my members have done. We've had Nora Gamboa with Small Biz Books and Accounting that did a great webinar on cloud-based accounting for small businesses. So she's a QuickBooks expert, and she talked about all the different options you have there. We've had Wilma Aponte with United Health Advisors talk about open enrollment and your health insurance options between the marketplace and private insurance, because it's very complicated, very grown-up stuff that I'm blessed I don't have to deal with. My husband's a Fed, but it was a great, informative, program. We've had members get on, and well, you talked about the cost of speeding in Virginia. It's important not to speed. It can impact so many things. I have learned your credit score, your life insurance ratings, your ability to get a job. See, I learned. I paid attention.
Potentially your criminal record. Yeah, well, reckless driving in Virginia is a crime, and a lot of people don't know that, and they just ignore the ticket. And if they're lucky enough that they don't issue a bench warrant for their arrest,
right,
they're convicted and they have a criminal record for the rest of their life.
Yeah, or driving on that suspended license is a big no-no. I know all these things, but no, our members, there's so many. They know so much. We've had Deborah Stamler, who's with Awakened Dreams Coaching, way back. I think it was even before COVID. Did a great presentation to our young professionals. We've had members do presentations for young professionals. We've had Victoria Kaiser with Embrace Home Loans talk about what you need to know before you go to buy your first house for our young professionals. You got to have certain ducks in a row, certain things in order. We've had Sean Stuckey from Edward Jones talk about, the 401ks and why it's important that you start saving early with our young professionals. So we've had a lot of great opportunities for our members to share their knowledge with our members and beyond, because our events are open to the public. So.
Yes, they are.
And I learned something from every presentation I sit through. Every single one, I pick up a nugget in some way, shape, or form that will help me or plant a seed. Maybe I should look into this, or so it's all good stuff, and we can share that knowledge. Kate and Rick share that knowledge. It's a good thing.
Marvin has finally deigned to join us.
Hello, Marvin.
He said brilliant. I don't know what he was referring to that we said that was brilliant. I mean, probably everything. So, Marvin, if you're still there, what was so brilliant? We want your insight. We were praising you and Darren in the roundtable. I don't know if I'm talking to nothing. I don't know if Marvin's still there. There's like a 15-second delay. So, Marvin, if you're there, we want to hear from you. I mentioned that you were you were one of the people that I met as a result of the chamber, and you have been tremendously helpful for my business and for everybody. Marvin is a business coach that likes working with small businesses. I wish I could do his.
Oh my God, he's the best. He asks the hardest questions, and they're such good questions. He asks you the questions that you need to be asked, not necessarily the ones you want to be asked.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's fantastic in that way. It's probably why I don't meet with him as much as I should, because I know he's going to ask me questions that I don't want to answer.
Yeah. Marvin, if you're there, we want to hear from you. Oh, well, we'll move on. Whoever is still there, if you have any questions, or did you want to mention any other member events or events that were put on?
Well, we have an information session coming up on Tuesday, January 19th at noon via Zoom. It's My Chamber 101. We do them every other month. It can really give you a lot more information on the benefits and value of chamber membership. And as a bonus, for those of you who are in Fairfax City or Fairfax County, I have someone from the city's Economic Development Office speak about the services they provide for the business community in the city. And then I also have someone from Fairfax County's BizX department. It's a little bit bigger over there in Fairfax County. The bureaucracy is a lot bigger, but they have some amazing services as well for businesses. And they each have about 15 minutes that they share with the attendees what services are out there for them that they can take advantage of. And there are so many people that are like, oh my God, where were you? And I was in the permitting process for blah, blah, blah. I really needed to know this then. So it's been great. That's been a new thing we added last year. Just a little bonus bit of information for our members and non-members alike. The Chamber 101, it's a great refresher course for members who want to make sure that they're leveraging their benefits. And we've added so many. I mean, I added being a notary this past year. I've notarized quite a few things since the end of October for Chamber members. So it's a great refresher course for what we've added as benefit of membership, and it's informational for anyone who's interested in joining our Chamber.
Oh, and what about telehealth?
Yeah, our telehealth program we rolled out in July. It's an awesome program. We recognize that health insurance is crazy expensive. People were losing their health insurance because of COVID, losing their jobs, or companies can no longer afford to offer it. So one of our Chamber members, Carol Moselle, she is a long-term care specialist, but also telemedicine. We have a great program for Chamber members. It's $9.95 a month. You can have up to 10 family members. Extended family members are okay on your plan. Zero copay. You're consulting with U.S. board certified doctors who will speak English, although if you want one that speaks Korean, you can ask for one, or Spanish or Chinese or Vietnamese or several other languages. It's powered by MD Live. So they're like one of the top telemedicine providers in the country. And it's good in all 50 states. So if you're traveling and you start to feel under the weather, or you've been hiking in the woods and you get into the poison ivy, you can do a telemedicine consult either on the phone or via video. They can prescribe medicines, not narcotics, antibiotics and ointments and creams and all that good stuff. And it solves a lot of problems, keeps you out of the urgent care, keeps you out of the emergency room. Again, it's $9.95 a month and there's no copay. So it's a great, great program.
I had no idea that you literally could just, if something happens, like sign on and have access. I thought it was just you made an appointment like any other doctor.
No, it's really cool. In fact, Sarah White's a big fan of it. She uses it, and Lost Dog Cafe in Merrifield, they are providing that as a benefit to their employees. So we're able to provide that to them for an even better price because they are a Chamber member, and they're doing kind of the bulk purchase. But Sarah swears by it. She's got her sister and and I think a couple of other family members on there. And she's told me, since she's used it a few times, that you can ask for the same doctor. So then you can kind of build a relationship with the one doctor. So it's a really great program, very affordable. Oh, and the bonus is any Chamber member who is signed up for the telehealth, as a bonus, they receive a health and wellness savings card that provides them with discounts on medical visits and dental visits if they don't have insurance. Eye care, hearing aids, gym memberships, and it's gyms we've actually heard of, not like these weird fly-by-nights. You can order supplements and other medical supplies like diabetic supplies online at a discount. If you have issues with your billing, there you can use a resource there for a reduced cost. And let me tell you, I had to go round and round with an emergency room out of state last year. They tried to tell me I owed them $2,300, and my insurance told me I owed them $65. Big difference. I went round and round with them for months, and I would have gladly used the service and would have been happy to have paid them whatever percentage that they were saving me with, of all the time I spent on the phone. So really cool bonus benefit, but that's only for Chamber members who sign up for telemedicine. We do have a prescription discount card for all members that you can use in place of insurance, not in conjunction with insurance. So that's one of our affinity programs. So.
Well, so I was thinking of more people that I had met as a result of the Chamber and how that has grown. I mentioned Russ, I mentioned Troy, but also Marvin. Marvin has been on a couple of my lives, and Marvin does his own live Friday afternoons, which is awesome.
Coffee, tea, you and me.
Exactly. Darren Marquardt, who was here earlier, I don't know if he still is. He was on another one of my lives. And then Trevor Whaling, who he works with, who does the lending for mortgages, he was on the live with Darren, and I met him through Marvin's roundtable. And like I said, Sarah White, and pretty much everybody that like has been on my lives recently that I can remember. So
Fun
yeah.
fact about Trevor. Trevor used to be in the Fairfax Rotary Club. Trying to get him to come back. I'm also trying to get him to join the chamber. So, my work's cut out for me.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of people that are in the round table and in the Rotary, Fairfax Rotary are also in the chamber, but not necessarily. So
no, not necessarily, but my worlds do collide often, and it's a wonderful thing.
They do collide often. And if you attend these different organizations, you will see some of the same people, but not all the same people. So you have the opportunity to meet like so many more people.
And that's the nice thing about seeing the same people is you're able to build that relationship. And that is what's so key and critical in networking. You have to build the relationship. I'm not going to refer somebody to a business I hardly know. I mean, even if it's a chamber member, I'll tell them, it's a chamber member. They've just joined. I don't know much about them. Mm-hmm. But if I've got 2 chamber members that do the same thing and I know one better than the other, mm-hmm. I'm probably going to show a little more love to the one that I know better until I've gotten to know the other one. So relationship building is key. So it's good that you see some of these same people, mm-hmm. not all the time, mm-hmm. but often enough that you feel like you get to know them, mm-hmm. and not just what they do, but who they are and why they do what they do.
Mm-hmm. And that's a perfect example of taking advantage of your chamber membership, because if you don't show up, nobody knows who you are, business or personally.
And if you don't, tell me what you're looking for, or, a little more about you, like if I know a little more about you, then I may connect you with somebody that I might not have. A really good example is Darren. I've gotten to know Darren over the last almost 2 years now. Love Darren. He's a great realtor. He has the Pug Rescue. He's a practical actor, dancer, all this great stuff. Earlier this year, a woman was moving. She's moved now to this area. And she's telling me all about herself. She's soon to be retired. And she really told me a whole lot about herself, probably more than most people do. But it was great because as we were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who I'm going to connect her with. And I know she's not ready to buy a house yet. She's just looking to rent, but her kids are moving to the area and they're going to want to buy a house too eventually. I'm connecting her with Darren. And I gave Darren the heads up. I'm like, look, she's just renting for now, but this could turn into a couple of home transactions in another year or so. And they did. They clicked right away. Darren took care of her. She was very happy. And she's an animal lover. She was involved in community theater. I mean, all these things that just that made it work. And that's because I got to know Darren, and obviously this woman really told me a lot about herself. Mm-hmm. That it made it very helpful.
Yeah. Uh-oh, I hear an echo.
I do not.
Oh, well, maybe it's my computer. We've been going for almost an hour talking about how awesome the Fairfax Chamber is. Is there anything else that you want to touch on that the chamber does that we didn't talk about, or is there anything
else? Just don't discount the Chamber of Commerce. Don't immediately think that it's out of reach for you. Chambers are a lot more affordable than you think. Mm-hmm. A lot more affordable. And we have moved with the times. Most of us allow monthly payments or quarterly payments. So then you kind of consider it a subscription. Mm-hmm. And for my chamber, if you're a one-person act, it's $26 a month. I mean, that's very affordable. Mm-hmm. Some of the other chambers might be a little more expensive, but do your research, do your homework, and don't think it's out of reach. Mm-hmm. Probably not. So.
Yeah, you know what?
That's everything. You're going to get that money back. I mean, think about the new Staples savings program that we rolled out in November. We get to take advantage of it as a chamber. And my first order, I saved almost $100 over what I would have if I just ordered it through Staples.com. So, I mean, join and then take advantage of everything so you can get that money back in tenfold, hundredfold.
Exactly.
I think that's my best advice. If you join, make sure you leverage as much as you can. Ask for help, ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel like you're pestering the chamber staff because I mean, we work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they're there for. And I'll tell you, I made my money back.
I hope so.
Yeah, I have.
Good.
That's why I joined again.
Yes.
So, because I joined in December of 2019, and then my membership was, up for renewal in 2020.
Yep.
And then I went to post an event on the event calendar, and it didn't let me. And I'm like, oh no, it lapsed. I have to pay. Of course, it was a no-brainer. Of course, I was going to pay.
It's easy to lose track of that.
Yeah, but definitely worth the investment. I would say it's an investment, and and you can't make all the events. Nobody can, even you can't, Jennifer. So
you can't. And I'm the only employee, and I still can't make all the events. Thank goodness for my wonderful volunteers.
Yes. So attend what you can. But I would highly recommend the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. And I can say that because this is my show and I'm a member. But also any Chamber of Commerce. Like I said, I'm also a member of the Prince William Chamber, which is great. And I've been a member a little bit longer than Fairfax, but it's because I mostly practice in Prince William. I'm sorry?
They're big. They have a staff.
They are big. They are big.
But they've got like 800 members, or maybe even more than that. Probably more than that.
Yeah. But all the chambers in the area are great, and like I any chamber of commerce, like you said, even if it's not necessarily in the county where your business is, like it's who you click with, it's who you want to associate with, it's business partners that you want. So yeah, definitely a chamber of commerce, I would say, is worth the investment. And it's hard, I guess, going back to the whole reason why I did this series. It's hard when you're a new business owner. You don't have a lot of resources. Not to use that ironically with your Rick's mnemonic device, but you don't have a lot of resources, and you really try to be careful about where you spend your money because you don't have a lot of it when you start. But joining a chamber, definitely exposes you, like you said, to people who've been doing it longer than you, who have more experience, who know people, who can connect you with business partners or clients. So, it definitely, I would suggest, checking it out and making the investment.
Absolutely. Thank you. The check is in the mail, Jean.
Yeah, I get paid to speak and do that now. Well, Jennifer, anything else before we say goodbye to the Facebook world?
No, I think that we've covered it pretty well. Just remember, community networking is important.
Very important.
It's definitely a great way to grow your business.
And it has helped me, and Jennifer can even attest to that.
So. Indeed.
All right. Well, Jennifer, you stay there because I'm going to end the live broadcast, but you and I will still be able to talk. So thank you again, Jennifer Rose, Executive Director of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce, goddess extraordinaire. Thank you. Thanks, Darren, for telling us about goddess. Now we're always going to say that. So thank you for your time and for everything that you do for the chamber. Everybody really appreciates it, and everybody loves you. So thank you.
Well, thanks, Jean. Without the members, there's no chamber. So it's my pleasure to do what I do every day, and it rarely feels like work.
That's good. That's good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week. I believe we are going to be having Chris Peden from Peden Accounting Services. But look for the updates on that. I still need to create that event page. So just check the page and see what's coming up. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.